Welcome to another cycle of Dirty Laundry Clean Confessions, a family podcast created for the next generation. Grandma Smarge can't wait to see what you'll become, Monk and Little Al. Live, pre-recorded from our family laundry room, with Smarge, Haas, and sometimes Otter, and always not the real guest. Here we hang it on the line with everyday ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. In the room where famous people are loved, adored, and admired, however, not invited, except for the great Willie Nelson, of course. Thanks for joining us in the laundry room while we fold through life's journeys. Here, we're keeping it real, washing through stains, and making colors a little bit brighter. Live, pre-recorded from the laundry room. How are you, Haas?
I'm doing so good. How are you, Smarge?
I'm doing great. And you, Otter?
I am doing
Yes,
very
it
well.
is that kind of evening. Yeah, this is like take
is.
10. We had some technical difficulties at the beginning.
Breaking some stuff.
But,
Again.
but, you know,
Again.
living and learning. Living and learning.
Can't stop breaking stuff. I don't know what the deal is.
We're officially in fall now, which is awesome.
I know.
Yes, nice,
Yeah.
nice. Things are cooling off.
Yeah, it's about time. I mean, I
Well,
love
actually,
summer. but-
today was like 85 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But last week it was cooling off, so that's good.
right. And the colors are pretty. Colors
Beautiful.
are
They're
changing.
coming through.
Yeah.
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 I like it.
I
like
love
All
it.
the
that.
brights. All the brights.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
brights. Yes, all the
Bright
brights.
wash. This is color wash.
This is
Against the
color
bright blue
mode.
sky. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It is. Tie-dyed. The sky reminded me today of tie-dyed blue.
Oh my god! And last
the
night was so nice. Did you see that? So
moon?
vibrant. Yeah,
It was so pretty.
it was so pretty.
Close
Yeah,
enough,
I even went camping last week. I saw a moose.
You saw a moose?
Yeah.
Hold on. You had a skid mark cycle.
I actually
Did you really?
I actually did. It
Oh
was
my God.
It was actually really scary.
Real quick, share your skid mark cycle.
Real quick before
Real
we get
quick.
started.
We might have two this episode.
Yeah. I was camping by myself, which also should have.
Wait, you were by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Smarge was
Yeah.
not happy by the third night when it was raining and flooding. I'm like, why is no one else concerned?
Haas.
You know, I don't know.
I was
But
concerned.
I went on a evening walk before I started making dinner, and I was looking out into this valley where I was, and there was something out in the valley, and it just looked at first like a tree stump at first, but for a half second I was like, that looks like a moose.
This
like,
isn't
sitting
making
down,
me
you
feel
know?
better about you camping alone.
Yeah, and so I kept getting closer to it and closer to it, and finally he stood up, and he was huge.
Oh, where were you
like
camping?
Guanella Pass.
Oh my
like not even that
gosh.
far from here.
No.
Yeah, I've never seen a moose in Colorado, let alone this close to Denver, but he was huge. He was black, and he had like the biggest antlers I've ever seen. He was just staring me down. I was like, oh my God, okay, walk away, walk away. I don't actually know what you're supposed to do when you encounter a moose.
There's a clink. What do you do?
Yeah, I know what you do for like a bear in a mountain lion, but
Well,
like
that
a
is
moose,
why
you're
we have
kinda just
Otter here.
screwed.
Well,
Otter's
it
gonna look
differs
on that for
depending
us.
on the bear. I want to say
Yeah,
back
that's true.
Oh,
black
you're
bear,
right.
you play dead, grizzly, you try
No.
to get away. Is it the other way around?
No. Yeah, grizzly, you're fucked essentially. There's nothing.
There's
really.
nothing.
I
There's
can
no
just
getting
see
out of
that
that.
bear.
Black
What
bear,
the
you're
hell are
supposed
you
to be-
doing, dude? I'm a black bear.
You're-
I'm not a brown bear.
You're-
Why are you acting bigger than
You-
you're Don't
I
you know
know
what
what
color
you're
I am?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Black bear, you're supposed to be big and tall and loud.
You're kidding.
because
It's
they're
not
a
the
lot more
Okay,
skittish.
so those are the ones you want to get big for, just
Yeah.
like a mountain lion. You want to
Yeah.
get big for, like get on
doesn't
someone's
really
shoulders,
help
get
either.
a jacket.
Yeah,
The grizzly is the one you want to play dead with.
yeah.
Are you
grizzly, you're
kidding?
entirely-
No, they
you're-
rip your
you're
scalp
fucked.
off.
You're fucked. If you run into a grizzly,
Yeah,
there's
just-
like not a lot you can do.
Well,
I don't know.
here's the story if you encounter a moose.
Okay.
Talk, make your presence known. So,
Oh, he knew.
hey moose,
He knew
it's me, Haas.
So are you a Canadian moose? A?
And then you slowly back away in the direction you came.
Okay, that's
If
exactly
a
what I
moose
did.
charges you or chases you,
Kiss
hide
your
behind something solid like a
skid
tree,
marks
Okay,
goodbye.
I
or
do
try to
that.
get inside a vehicle or a building. If a moose knocks you down, you're done.
Well, so get this.
No, it says if it knocks you down, curl into a ball, protect your head, and lie still until the moose retreats, or you die. Whatever. comes
Whichever
first.
are gonna die.
first.
Well, So then, get
gosh,
this,
it got
like,
rough all of a sudden in the
I get-
laundry room.
I get back from this trip and I'm telling you about this story, and my mom tells me that literally the exact same week, around the same area, a woman was attacked by a moose.
I was just going to say, I thought I heard in the
very,
news.
very injured. I think she survived, but she was.
Well, and that's becoming a big
What
problem.
what was the circumstances? Do you know? Did she not curl up into? Do we know what she did? We need to know what she did.
I actually don't know. She just got. All I know is she got trampled. So she probably went down to the fetal position,
and then
as they say,
and then
just
didn't
got
work.
that's when he took advantage, and it all went.
But it's becoming an issue. So like you're seeing more and more like mooses charging people, and wildlife in general are just like getting too comfortable with people, and they used to be kind of skittish, and
But
now
why
migrating
Why is this?
further down into our environment too.
well, I think because we're building into their homes for one,
Right.
and I think
global warming.
food source is scarce, and
Oh.
they're watering down, and they're becoming too comfortable with human contact. And so before, when they used to kind of like scare away, now they're kind of like, "I'll take you on." Or anyway, that is definitely a skid mark story.
Yeah, definitely. But you said something about human nutrition and all of that as well, didn't you?
I kind of did. You know, their food
what I
source
heard.
is scarce,
I'm
but
trying to find.
sounds
the
like you
segue.
have a
This is a good segment.
sounds like you have a confession there.
Yeah, now
Smart.
that you say that,
That was like the lousiest segue. We're going to do something a little different this session with our confession, in that this is a confession from actually someone that listened and emailed in.
Oh, a listener.
Yeah, a listener. So I thought, and it was a great question. And so we asked one of our previous guests back, Mama T.
Mama T.
she's back in
She's
action.
back
Whoop,
in the
whoop.
studio. Almost done studio.
So what did our guest write in?
Our guest wrote in and said, hey, I have a confession. I do not really understand what it means when you are processed food. So I know we're supposed to kind of avoid a lot of processed food, but I do not actually know what processed food means.
Okay.
And I was like, great question.
That is a great question.
And thank you for listening.
And thank you for writing
emailing
in.
in. This
Yes,
is
thank
great.
you. If any other listeners want to write in,
And you famous people, this
Yeah.
is where you get your chance.
if you have your
This
own
is-
confession, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
dirty
email in since
Yeah.
you can't be in NRG. And
That's at dirty laundry clean confessions at gmail.com.
If you can't be not the real guest, then
NTRG. Speaking of
NTRG, right.
NTRG,
Yes.
we are welcoming back Mama T.
Mama T.
Mama T.
Excited
Excited
to be
here.
yay, how was your summer now that we're going into autumn?
Fantastic.
Great.
Yeah, I went to
Great.
France. I've been traveling like a fool, and
That's right. We're going to have a story a
Enjoying
little bit
life.
later. We're going to have a really happy story. Yes.
A
Very,
real clean white cycle.
Yeah,
for you.
bright white.
bright white.
Bride.
Oxy-
Bright white,
oxy-
if you know what I mean. Hint, hint. Yes, that'll be great. And so did you hear what our listener had asked about processed food?
great question.
Well, can you help us?
I think so. I think so.
Awesome. Here in the laundry room.
So, processed food is any food that is taken out of its natural state. So there's many ways, and I'm Italian, and now I'm using my hands, and so I'm trying to restrain myself here. Anything that is altered from its natural state. So
Right.
there's many different levels of processing. You can have minimally processed food, or you can have heavily processed food. But processing is anything from taking a grain, for example, and refining it and turning it into a flour. So you can eat brown rice in its whole form, or you could eat brown rice flour.
Okay.
Okay. Really processed food, what typically why processed food gets a negative connotation is because food manufacturing companies will add a lot of salt, sugar, and fat to foods in the processing of the food.
Is that more of a preservative type thing? Or is
As
that
a preservative, but also as a way to get you to eat more of it and buy more of it.
an addictive
Doritos.
quality?
Exactly. And think about it.
Doritos.
MSG.
A red dye 40.
Yeah, and our bodies actually are meant to eat whole, unprocessed foods. And if you think about, potatoes, for example, could you eat an entire bag of potatoes? Probably not. But most of us could put away a few bags of potato chips. I'm
Sure
sure.
could.
Right?
Oh,
Sure
good
could.
example.
Salt
Good
and vinegar?
example.
Yeah. So, and not all processing is bad. I mean, some processing, especially in the world we live in today where convenience is king and everybody's life is, you can buy your kale chips that have been dehydrated and
Sure.
seasoned. And so I like to look at it as levels of processing with your goal
Okay.
always to be to eat as much whole, unprocessed food as possible.
Kind of like what you were telling us, I think, on the first session about when you look at the ingredients, less ingredients,
The better.
Yeah,
So less levels of processing, the better.
So like a Twinkie is highly processed.
Yeah. Highly.
Really?
But
From what?
the tomato that you grew organically from your garden,
yeah.
that's not processed.
Not processed.
So if we had a scale from tomato to Twinkie,
I love it.
give me a food, Haas.
Pringles.
Where do Pringles fall?
They're closer to that Twinkie.
Closer to that
all
Twinkie.
day long.
Actually, I think
Okay.
they're right up there with that Twinkie. So what about, let's think of something else. Like, so when you go into the grocery store and you get one of those grain, like the quinoa,
Yeah. Oh, the quinoa, yeah.
like in a package, is that just, I'm assuming, is that some
tomato
process?
or Twinkie?
So,
Is there
I
some
mean,
process
technically,
there?
you could buy the quinoa out of the bin.
Yeah, I don't-
That's just been harvested.
Well, what about, do they have the quick quinoa?
Yeah, like the
Like
bags
the
of
quick
quinoa.
rice and the quick oats.
Exactly. I
And
have a
levels of
fe-
processing.
I
again.
have a feeling those are, okay. So let's say it says organic, okay, organic, but quick.
Yeah.
Like when you look at something quick, what has been, I guess, taken away or added to?
Typically,
to
it's
make it-
been refined more. So another example would be sugar for so white
Like cane
refined sugar.
Yeah.
So cane sugar is the sugar cane is the natural form of
Okay.
sugar. But what we do with sugar is we refine it and process it. White sugar is processed about 36 to 40 times, going through
Holy
various
what
stages.
was that?
Well, it's bleached,
bleaching.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's extremely refined. Whereas
We
even
can eat
like a
bleach?
raw turbinado sugar
I was gonna say raw turbinado.
is
too.
But we
much
can,
less
wait,
processed.
but back up a second. We can eat bleach.
No,
That's
I think that's what she's trying to say. Is we shouldn't be eating.
But
should
the sugar,
limit-
so the sugar to be that white really truly does have
they
bleach.
bleach it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fine.
It's
well,
not
same
right
with your
there.
flour. If you look at your flour,
Exactly.
it says
Yeah.
enriched bleached flour.
yeah.
Unless you get like the whole grain flour.
Which is crazy. I don't understand why they do that. I mean, so much extra work on their end. Why can't we just
And
have?
personally, as the consumer, I don't care what my food looks like as
Right.
long as I know it's a legitimate form of food.
But you're
Right.
the exception to the rule for the most part.
Oh, well, that's
Most
just so
people,
unfortunate.
it's appearance. So the top 3 reasons why people choose to eat what they eat is cost,
Makes sense.
taste, and convenience. So nutrition sadly doesn't figure into the top 3.
That's so
And the
unfortunate.
food manufacturing companies know that, and that's why, their job isn't to make us healthier. That's not what they're focused on. They're
They're
focused
making
on
profits.
selling their products, which are not good for us oftentimes. And another trick they have is, let's take a breakfast cereal, for example. They will add salt and sugar to it because they know studies have been done where they've looked at if you're consuming sugar and salt at the same time, it's more addictive and you want to eat more of it.
Okay.
So they
I
have
always wondered why
many
some
tricks.
of like why is the sodium so high on Frosted Flakes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So processing, again, there are some good forms of processing. Canning is an
Yeah.
old form of food processing that has served
Okay.
us well
And it
over
preserves
time.
the
It
food in
preserves
a
the
natural
food.
way. Pickling.
Yeah, so not all processing is bad. It's the heavily processed where they typically have added so much salt, sugar, and fat that is going to really take a toll on your health
And the goal is to like get you hooked.
and get you
Kind of like the tobacco company.
kinda. Yeah,
right, well.
yeah.
Okie dokes.
No, that makes sense. I mean, they're really just trying to get you hooked. It's actually really sad that our entire society has just been based on how we can get more people to consume more things and spend more money and it's they don't care about like the rest of the society's general health as long as you're consuming more goods. It's
Well,
just not.
that it like the perfect example of that, which is not in the realm of nutrition, but I don't know if you guys saw I think it was on Netflix or Hulu, the documentary or the docudrama on the Sackler family and the opioid epidemic.
I did see that.
Talk about disturbing. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Wait, I didn't. Gosh, I can't believe I didn't. I did not see
you
this.
should see it.
Crazy.
So it's
mind-blowing.
about I mean, I understand the opioid epidemic.
Epidemic.
That's what I was
It's
looking
a
for.
thing.
So yeah,
It's an
epidemic. And but a whole family being affected? Is
No,
that or
they owned the pharmaceutical company that really pushed they had these.
oh, I thought
drug
that was
reps.
Purdue or something.
It is the Purdue family, or it's Purdue Pharma Sackler family. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I did see
Is this
part
the
of
people
that.
who like made Oxy sound like it was a
Yes.
good thing? And
Yeah.
now
Like it was the
it's
next
a
best thing because it was not addictive.
Yes.
Right. And they like skewed the data even to make it
Yeah.
look like it wasn't addictive
not
and it would
addictive,
only
yeah.
impact your.
I have a
They
funny
knew it
little
was hurting
side
people.
note story. Just not that is a funny story. The epidemic is not. I do feel at this point we need to make a quick clarification since we are in the laundry room that it is not OxyClean we are talking about. It is OxyContin, which also can be confusing. Would you like to explain, Haas?
Why is hot?
It's an
don't know.
addictive
I know.
pain medication.
Right. Yeah.
It's an opioid.
Yeah.
So the way they sold it, I understood, is they put it off as a new pain medication that is not addictive, like for the working individual. Which,
Right. Well, they were
if you're in pain, stay home and heal.
diagnosing
keep
it
working.
to almost anybody, and then they were giving you like 40 milligrams or something right off the bat,
Right.
which is
So my funny
Crazy.
side story is I grew up with some awesome grandparents. My grandpa and grandma lived about 10 miles outside of Central City, Blackhawk, up in the mountains after, I think, 42, 43. They went years old.
Mm-hmm.
They moved up there and just ended up, my grandfather died up there actually at
wow,
93.
really.
Yep.
Wow.
So anyway, they remember in the late 70s, early 80s, living up there. They were, of course, they were older. It was a hippie community at the time.
Like a hippie commune.
Yeah, exactly. And my grandma and grandpa told me the story about when a lot of their friends, they had the greenhouse they built around their home. And a lot of their hippie friends came up in the late 70s, early 80s, and they said, hey, we're giving up our marijuana. It's bad for us. It's not good. Here are our plants. Can you take care of them? There's this new stuff, cocaine. And it was not addictive,
No, it's not a
and it's clean.
comes from a
You
plant.
don't smoke it.
Plant.
You may sniff it up your nose, but you don't smoke it. Better for your lungs. And that's what we're going to do now because we want to have a family.
Oh, great.
And as my grandfather always warned, if it sounds too good to be true, for God's sake, it probably is.
Probably. Yeah.
So yeah,
I wonder what that family's doing today.
well, it was 2 or 3 or 4 of their hippie friends. So I did ask, did anybody come back and ask for their pot plants back? And they said, yeah, one person, Steve. He was one of the guys that ran, and I knew him as a family friend and everything. Is Steve, and I'm pretty sure he's the only one that's still alive too. Seriously,
My God. That's really sad.
because I think when they were first getting it, it was a heart issue. I think because it was pure cocaine. Like that was before they were adding all the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it.
Baby
Scary.
laxative to it. And
There was nothing like
all
that
the
in it. There
horrible
was
shit
nothing
now.
in it. It was just, which I don't, not better or worse, but just it was heart issues. They would just, but anyway, side note, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do this new stuff called cocaine.
So if it's too good
Well,
to
so-
be true out there, guys,
I think
it's
that
probably
even goes back
true.
to like fad diets. Like they sound so amazing, right? And it's
Exactly.
like, we don't have the research on it. We don't have the data. And
Right.
10, 20 years, we're going to find out some probably horrific things about
And you kind of know it's a fad diet pretty early on.
when everyone's
Oh,
falling over
hey,
it.
Mama T, is there a list that you can go through and if you can figure out, is this a fad diet or is this a way of life diet? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can you like tell right off the bat if it's gonna actually work?
What are the
or if it's
characteristics
just a
of a
fad?
fad diet, no matter what? And
you're
then,
like excluding entire food groups or
oh yeah, okay.
something like that. That makes me pretty nervous about
Right,
what the long-term ramifications of such a diet would be. But now that I've mentioned a kind of depressing show to watch on the upside, I think it's on Netflix, The Blue Zones. Huge fan.
Oh, yes.
They study all these different blue. You guys know the Blue Zone?
No,
I do. I
no.
do know of the Blue Zone.
So
I know. I
there's
think it's
different zones throughout the world where there are the highest percentage of centenarians. And so this guy wanted
As in people who.
live to be 100.
100.
Oh my god.
Yes. And
Centenarian, Latin word.
so he wanted to study why, like, what are they doing
100.
that's making them live so long and be healthy? And so there's one in Italy, there's one in Greece, there's one in California, the Seventh-day Adventists, in Japan, in Okinawa, there's one of these zones. And so each of the different, so I highly recommend it. It's really interesting.
Quick
But-
question.
Yeah.
Are any of the regions like freezing cold? Seriously, wondering.
They're being preserved by the cold. Is that
Well, no,
question.
like, can you
so.
like, because it's all like I see it. I'm getting it like the fish, but it's like oceanside, seaside.
Yeah,
What if,
Sardinia and well,
anyway? So
yeah,
go
I'm
back
just
to-
wondering how cold. Like, do you live like? If you want to live for a long time, should you not live somewhere where it's really cold all
you
the
know,
time?
they did not correlate temperature.
They
at
did.
all.
Okay,
wasn't
thank
part
you.
of it.
What a great way to ask that. Thank you. I just couldn't get my words.
The big factor,
And that's what a friend is for.
that they find in these places is community. First, of all. That's why
Okay.
people are living, because they're in community. You know, whether they're breaking bread together or they're just, in Okinawa, revering the elderly.
And I think that's why we saw such a decline in the elderly with COVID.
Yep.
Is because these people were completely isolated from not only their families but any type of community. And so they kind of pretty quickly, like, if they didn't like decline physically, you notice now, like a couple years into it, they're mentally just not
Yes.
up to it anymore.
Well, like I had said about my grandfather a little bit earlier, he lived to be 93. Very high altitude. He wasn't a scooter. He was on oxygen. If he came down here, he probably wouldn't have needed oxygen all day long. However, he was very adamant. He said, don't move me now. My mental state cannot handle it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And he lived to be 93. So there is something to be said about staying in your own environment that's worked so well for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something's got to be working.
So community is a big thing.
Community is a huge.
What's the
Right.
other factors?
Movement of some sort, and it's not going to the gym. It's being outside and moving in nature, and that a lot of the Japanese sit on the floor, and the up and down movement really is great for their longevity. And so that was interesting. And they do tend to eat, for the most part, more of a Mediterranean diet.
Yes.
Almost all of the blue zones eat,
Okay.
and it's a pretty whole food based.
Right. They're
So
avoiding
they're
processed
avoiding a
food.
lot of processed food.
Yeah.
More tomatoes, less Twinkies.
Exactly.
Got
They're
it.
eating, like in Okinawa, one of the big foods is purple yams.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
Purple yams.
staple.
Do-
Is that the
Can
same
you
thing
get
as
that
the
here?
Yumi or
Yeah.
the ubi? Ubi?
something. Yeah.
Like they make like doughs out of it and stuff.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
the
it's
purple
purple.
sweet
Yeah.
potato. Yeah.
Okay.
But they eat a ton of rice. So like when you have people who are taking rice out of their diet because they don't want to eat too much carbohydrate, you can look at these 100-year-olds who've been eating rice forever. And
Right, and even the good rice, the sticky
I've
white
always
rice.
wondered that
But
because the
non-processed
Japanese seem to
rice.
have quite longevity
Yes.
and
yes,
they eat a ton of rice.
They do.
Yeah.
They eat
Sushi.
All about
soy and
moderation.
Ooh,
And
what's
well.
Marge's favorite word?
Moderation.
And at the end of the day, I don't think there's one diet that is for everybody. I think the most important thing
I agree.
we can do is listen to our body.
Yeah.
And, if you eat something and you don't feel well, you're gassy, you're whatever, like your body's trying to tell you,
like
that doesn't
Well,
really
here it is. Like I try to give up dairy every now and then. I get it in my head. Okay, I'm just going to give up dairy. Giving up dairy completely. So when I give up dairy, I give up my Greek yogurt that I have every morning. And then like a weekend, I'm bloated. I don't feel good. My stomach doesn't feel
Sluggish.
good.
Because you're missing your probiotics from your Greek yogurt.
I need my I think Dr. Oz is like that as well. I need my Greek yogurt once a day. Like, I need to keep doing it.
If it works for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Keep
cut
doing
every
it.
other dairy out. But you're right about listening to, if you can really hone in and listen, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and like speaking to these blue zones you were saying, so I've recently become very into dentistry, and I just thought I'd share this really
That is all we
quickly.
hear about right now. But we
Like
love it. We love
Kirby
it.
from Rudolph.
But
My
man,
dentist.
My new passion. Now
stay
is
tuned for Anonymous
dentistry.
Dentist.
I mean, I could start a whole podcast now on dentistry. I can't even get over it. But anyway, with this newfound love for dentistry, I've also came across a few books. I couldn't find the one that I was particularly thinking of, but there's, and I'll have to link it in the show notes, but there's a book that my boss recently told me about that essentially the author went to all these really underdeveloped countries, these indigenous countries, and basically just checked, people's oral health in these countries who haven't been exposed to processed foods. And they
Wow.
have perfect teeth. It's
What do you
like
mean perfect
They
teeth?
are
Like,
they're perfectly straight. They're perfectly clean.
what?
I mean,
Right.
they have a
They're
little bit
straight?
of flag.
They're
a little bit of
straight?
plaque, but they're perfectly straight. It's almost insane. They do
I can't wait to hear
side
why
by side
that
pictures
is.
of people, the kids in the United States, and these indigenous kids that have never seen a dentist, never had processed food. Never.
I bet they're not putting a whole bunch of fluoride in their water either, which
Not at
gives them
all.
those horrible white lines here in
Not
the
at all.
U.S. If you have,
It's
calcium
unreal.
deposits. Yeah.
It's unreal. So
You're
it
kidding.
just goes to again prove that
So, Mama
processed
T,
food
can you
is just-
explain to us why processed food changes our dental
Dental health.
health?
Well, when you think about it, when a food has been highly processed, adulterated, changed from its natural state, our bodies don't really know how to break it down and digest it. So it's really hard on our bodies. And at the end of the day, you can take digestive enzymes. And the food's dead is the other thing. Processed food is completely
I didn't
dead.
really think about it like that.
So when you were talking about that study, I thought for a second you were going to talk about the Pottinger cat study. Are you familiar with that?
Oh,
Wait, did we talk about this the other week? Yeah,
think we did.
continue. I think I know what you're referring to, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. So Dr. Pottinger, he was a dentist. That's why.
wait, I did not know he was a dentist,
didn't know
but
that
correct. This was a conversation that we had with Mama T a couple weeks
Previously.
previously.
Go
And we're like, that's why you and I, like, at least our cognitive memory is like, oh, no, but I did not realize he was a dentist. So please continue. Dun, 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 dun. The universe is yelling at us.
Yeah.
He took two groups of cats and he gave one of them a completely raw diet, raw meat. And the other group, he just cooked. He gave them the same food, but he cooked it. And over time, and he did this for quite a long period of time. So he had multiple generations.
Okay,
And
nice.
what happened was the cats who were eating the cooked food had all kinds of health issues, diseases. They became infertile.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Guess you don't see a lot of cats out there cooking, do you?
All the stray cats out there.
Where's my
Who wants some bacon?
And so at the end of the day, the thing, some of the takeaways are processed food or cooked food even. Like if you're eating 100% cooked food and you're not eating any raw fruits and vegetables and that kind of thing in your diet, you're destroying all the enzymes.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and our bodies need enzymes. Our bodies can make some enzymes, but you have to get them in your diet as well. And so that took a huge toll on these cats. So when you're eating processed food, it's completely dead. There's no live. There's nothing live
So,
left.
like, when you cook an egg, is that bad? Are you? Because they don't really advise you to eat raw
eggs.
Right.
Yeah.
But we are human. I think that's something that, and we can cook. You do see humans cooking. You don't see cats cooking, but you see, well, hopefully you don't.
What I'm asking.
But you
Are you
do see
damaging the
humans.
Yeah. I know you're changing them.
Yes. Yeah, you are changing them. And there are certain nutrients, like my favorite example is tomatoes, because when you eat tomatoes in a raw form, the lycopene, and there's a whole bunch of lutein, there's a lot of nutrients in there that you're going to get in the raw form, but then when you actually cook it, it makes some of the nutrients more bioavailable.
Same with carrots. You get different nutrients in cooked carrots versus raw carrots.
Right.
Oh, look at you, Otter. I did not know that.
You also get different nutrients from when you liquefy food as opposed to when you eat it full. But
like if you over-blend your berries, isn't that not great?
I'm getting sidetracked.
We are.
Continue your thought. Sorry.
The wheels came off real quick.
Was.
And then they're back on.
But there are certain foods you just don't want to eat raw, especially if you're pregnant, to take the risk of getting any kind of contaminants and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So,
Right.
Okay.
But,
Interesting.
So, Mama T, what's up with the Greek yogurt for some people?
What's up with the Greek yogurt?
What's up with the Greek yogurt?
Because some people need yogurt, I guess, and
well, we do need to feed our good bacteria in our gut with some probiotics.
So you're even saying do not cut out dairy altogether unless you have
I can tell you, I don't do well with cow dairy. I can do sheep or goat dairy products without a problem, and those are actually really big in the blue zones. That's typically
goodness, you're kidding. That's big. Our 2 dogs got sick a couple days ago, and I'm like, do not give them. He's like, I think they need milk. And I'm like, oh my God, do not give them cow milk. I heard you get frozen goat milk and it'll defrost and you give. So
Worked miracles.
Wait,
but do you think I thought this for a human? No. I'm like, no, don't give the cow milk to the dogs.
Is that because cow milk is so processed?
So cows have basically 4 like a really simplified way to say it is they have 4 stomachs.
Yeah.
And think about it. You take a baby calf up to a 900-pound cow with that mama's milk, right? So it's very, very heavy and fat.
Okay.
Because the baby needs that.
And it is hard. The casein in it, and there's some things in it that are lactose.
And this baby cow has 4 stomachs to digest.
They can break that down and digest that pretty
Where us
easily.
humans have 1 stomach.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I have the dessert stomach.
You have 2.
But
Yeah.
And right now she has, maybe Audie. I think she has 3.
I technically have 2 stomachs.
Yeah, because of little Audie. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay.
You got me excited.
The goat milk, the sheep milk
Tend to be much more digestible. They have
I don't know where the third one came from.
MCTs in them, which are really good for us.
What are MCTs?
Medium chain triglycerides.
All right.
Oh dear. Hold on,
why are those
listeners.
good? That sounds like triglyceride. That's like a fat, right?
Yeah, it's like a medium chain fatty acid.
Okay, a good one.
That's what they
That's a
test.
good one.
So that's what they test when you get your blood taken, isn't it?
Uh-oh, what's the matter?
No, nothing. My triglycerides are poor.
Like they're
bad.
Oh.
I have bad triglycerides.
So does
But
that
that
mean
was
they're
also
high or
3
low?
years ago.
Would that mean they're high or low?
I think they're high. They're high.
They're high.
Which
Okay.
means I think I drink a lot of beer and I eat a lot of quesadillas.
The cheese,
sugar.
cheese.
I don't eat a lot of sugar.
Doesn't cheese kind of turn into sugar in our bodies in a weird way, or not? I'm sorry, not cheese. Not cheese. The flour, the tortillas.
Carbs.
The tortilla, the carbs that you're putting the cheese in.
Well,
Doesn't that
all
kind of
food
turn
is
into sugar?
technically carbs. That's. I don't know if we talked about this on the last podcast.
Oh
but
wow!
there's
I don't think I need to re-listen to the first podcast.
Well, we just have this terrible thing in society where we're like, no carbs, no carbs. Carbs are bad.
Right.
No, you need carbs, don't you?
You need
To
carbs.
build muscle or
Yes.
something.
Brain needs carbs.
Yeah.
Oh,
And every
eh.
food technically, I mean, I don't think celery probably has carbs because it's
No, it's water.
But like even a potato has carbs, or a
potatoes
tomato has strawberries. They have carbs. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's not necessarily
Isn't it a building block of everything, kind of?
100%.
Okay.
So there's basically 3 macronutrients. There's carbohydrates, proteins, and fats.
Yeah.
And we need all of them.
Yeah.
And,
In
but
moderation.
there's good fats and bad fats.
And there's good carbs and bad carbs.
Yes.
A Cheeto carb
Oh.
is not the same as like a whole grain oatmeal carb.
Yeah.
You know, like it's very different. And everybody lumps all the carbs together.
And then here you have a whole grain, and then here you have a Cheeto, and I have a feeling the Cheeto is the one that's very, very processed.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I mean,
and then
it's
you
orange.
Yeah.
Well,
I know
carrots.
carrots are
I just thought they were made with carrots for a long time. I really thought
carrots were
Cheetos were made with
initially-
carrots because I didn't know how you could get that kind of orange.
You can't. Yeah.
This is me as a kid.
It's got to be a carrot.
No, this is me as a younger kid. Like, I don't get why Cheetos are so bad for you. I mean, obviously there's a lot of carrots in there.
Weren't carrots initially purple until they were?
There's purple, white.
There are purple
yellow.
There are still purple carrots.
Yeah.
I think like orange wasn't the original carrot. I think they were kind of like.
Oh Christ! Did we
I
make
don't
that up too? Did humans like go in and make a
We've
color?
messed
They
it all up.
modify them.
Yeah. Do you need to renovate your laundry room? Do you need a carpenter? Go ahead and call Arlo Carpentry. Arlo Carpentry will serve all your woodwork needs, from woodwork to wood stock. Arlo Carpentry, serving the greater Denver metro area for the past 13.5 months. Arlo Carpentry, we're gonna nail it for ya.
Look that up.
Okay.
Speaking of that, though, funny story. Smarge's son-in-law and I decided to do a beet drink the other night, and I've been wanting to do a juice cleanse for some time, so I want to talk to you about that. But anyway, he essentially drank 5 to 8 beets juice
That's a lot.
in one, and then he continued to drink my beets that I had made. So
I think that could put your. Are you cleaning your kidneys? Wouldn't that put them in
He-
shock?
he
I would
like
think his urine
he
probably turned a different color.
he had
He
had
looks
some
a little.
issues.
He looks a little purple.
he
Is
had
that what's
told
going on
me-
with him?
Yeah, he had told me. We woke up the next
Is this
morning.
the
and
guy
he
that's
said-
living with us?
Yeah, that's the
I
guy.
thought he looked different.
And he came up to me. He said, "Did those beets hit you last night?" And I was like, "Those beets hit me real good, bro." I was like, "No, not really." He was like,
I
lost-
loved everybody.
I lost 6 pounds." And I said, "What?"
Oh dear Lord!
In,
So he's
like,
just
less
gonna
than
be on
24
beats
hours?
now.
Obviously, we weren't really doing a juice cleanse. But my question to you
I like how they do it
is-
in my home.
Yeah, we had to clean the toilets pretty well the next day. I was fine. I didn't drink that much. I had golden beets. So my
urine was
seemed
yellow.
about the same, and my stools were fine. So I was fine, and I didn't drink.
Well,
as
you
much
didn't
as he
drink
did.
'em.
He drank so
Moderation.
much, and I had
Well, I'll be
a
having a talk
baby
with him
glass
tomorrow.
of juice or of
Moderation.
beet juice. But anyway, my question to you is: I've been wanting to do a juice cleanse for some time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any opinions for or against a juice cleanse, or any advice you would give to someone who would want to do that?
Yeah, but before before I forget, a great way to kind of see how good your digestive, like how long it takes you to digest something and for it to process through your body, is to eat some cooked beets, and then see when they come out of you, how long until, because you can see them.
Yeah,
You know?
especially beets.
You can definitely.
You
see
are
them when
not
they
dying. You are
exit
not
your
bleeding
body.
internally. Remember, it's alarming for
I
people
mean-
that aren't used to it. Remember.
Same with corn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but I feel like beets is a great indicator
Okay.
because it's, you know,
Very obvious.
sometimes
So the
corn,
quicker
you gotta
the
look really hard.
the quicker the better. The quicker.
Yeah, the stronger your digestion, the stronger
Okay.
your body can break something. I mean,
Nice.
typically it's 8 to 10 hours for good
Do
digestion.
the beat test.
How those beets hit you last night?
Never thought about it that way.
Update on our carrot trivia. It
Thank
is
you.
believed that carrots originated in Asia around AD 900 and were
That's why they're so
actually
good for you.
yellow and purple in color.
Okay.
Orange carrots did not come along until around the 14 to 1500s, as we've learned.
Look at
So
you,
what did the English
Otter.
do?
They messed it up, I'm sure.
Well, at least they didn't genetically modify it.
Okay.
Well, they did
weren't
eventually.
Well, I'm wondering if the English started to grow it and there's not as much sun there, so their bright purples turn to orange because they don't have that much sun in England.
Yeah.
And if it's 1500s, I have a feeling the English are involved. I don't know. Gotta
Always
watch
blame,
those guys.
Always blame the English is what I've learned from Smarch. Just kidding.
It's definitely their fault.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Definitely.
Back to the juice cleanse. Yes.
It's
So
not the Puritan Americans' fault at all. Go ahead.
I feel like juice cleanses, there's not a cut and dry answer here. So I would always want to know, like, what's your objective? What are you wanting to accomplish by doing a juice cleanse?
I mean, ideally, I've always wanted to do one just to like kind of restart, you know,
Like
my
detox.
digestive system, detox a little bit. I want to like, you know, restart my working out routine. I just kind of want to like a fresh start. So part of me is like, maybe I just need to clear out my system, you know, do a
But you
quick
go through a
detox of
lot of
everything, and
withdrawal as well.
then, ooh, I
I
don't,
don't like. I just don't know if you want to just do that like without supervision or something. Like, I don't know.
I mean, my partner will be with me to make sure I don't die.
Going, oh my
giving up-
God, she's losing her goddamn mind. She hasn't
If
had
you're
caffeine.
giving up like something that your body is dependent on,
The caffeine, that's the first thing that came to my
Oh,
mind. And-
sugar.
caffeine. I'm gonna.
oh, sugar.
alcohol,
Oh,
you're gonna not feel great for a couple days.
are you doing this in my house?
After I move out. Don't
Thank you. Thank you. I love you, Haas.
So
We can only handle one of us losing our minds right now, okay?
No, I would not do that to us. So I would be a wreck.
Really.
I
Both of
am
us can't lose
a
our mind
big-
at the same time.
proponent of giving your digestive system a rest periodically and letting it reset.
Yeah.
I
I've
hear
never done that
fasting's
before.
okay. Intermittent fasting, I hear can be good.
Yeah.
So that's a craze that has a lot. We could do a whole episode on that. I do have a recommendation. If you are into intermittent fasting, there's a phenomenal book by Dr. Mindy Pelz, and it's called Fast Like a Girl.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
Oh,
No, but you told me about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And she has a podcast too. You can just go on and
Oh,
watch
cool.
some of her YouTube videos on
We can link that in the
YouTube.
notes. Yeah.
Yeah.
nice.
So, you know, what she talks about, which I think is absolutely critical that nobody thinks about. When you look at some of the studies that have been done on hormones and all these different things, a lot of those were done on men. And men and women's bodies, I'm sorry, are completely different.
we
Very
love you,
different. Men are on a
man.
24
We really
hour
do
cycle.
love you.
Boom. They just do the same thing. Women are on a 28 to 31 to maybe more day cycle. And our hormones are constantly in flux. And so even something like fasting, we're not going to fast like a man. We have to listen to our bodies. We have to. And there's times where she talks about you need to eat hormone feasting foods where, you know, things like sweet potatoes. And I mean, I love her because she's just real and she gives so
wow,
many
okay.
great recommendations. But one of the, you know, like best, if you want to just do a reset, do a 36-hour fast.
36 hours. That's probably the max you would recommend, or
Well, for
that's
first timers,
for
don't
a
you think?
first timer, yeah.
Yeah, for a
I
first
think we
timer.
talked last about the time about when I went to the
Yeah,
fasting.
a kind of a first timer thing because
Yeah.
some crazy things can happen when really your body freaks out and then your brain freaks out. And
Well, I told you guys I went to True North and fasted. For,
yes,
Yes.
please share that
4
story if
days.
you can. Yeah, that was a good story.
Did I tell you?
No.
Okay.
I don't think
Yeah,
I've
True
heard
North was,
So I
I got it
decided-
confused with Kim Kardashian's daughter, but it's a place.
that. Okay.
I did.
Working in health, you know, forever, I get a lot of questions about fasting. And about 15 years ago, I decided I needed to go and experience an extended fast so that I could speak from experience to fasting. So there is a fasting institute in California called True North, and people go there and fast for like 10, 20, 30, 40 days at
Oh
a
my
time.
gosh, like Gandhi style.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But these are people with severe chronic health conditions.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go. I didn't go there to address anything. I just wanted to experience an
That's
extended
amazing.
fast.
That's great.
So
then,
I did 4 days of water only. And
that's insane.
yeah, and before I left to prepare for my fast, they said, don't eat anything but fruits and vegetables for 2 days. So I
Okay.
ate fruits and vegetables for 2 days. I
did you hallucinate?
Oh my God. Yeah.
The thing is it's a monitored, like they wouldn't let you out of bed in the morning until they took your blood pressure. And so
All the
they're,
vital
So,
So I don't
see, Mama T
recommend-
did it the right
I
way.
don't recommend.
And I ain't doing that for you, Haas, so you're not doing that here.
Will you please take care of me when I'm hallucinating and losing my shit?
You want me?
But talk about energy. I came out of there. I didn't even know I could have so much energy after
That is
fasting.
crazy.
I've heard that can happen. I heard it's almost like a runner or something. Like you,
Runner's
when you,
high.
I've never been able to run that long,
I don't know what that's like.
but I've heard it's euphoric. Like
I've
you run,
been high.
and you feel like you're not going to be able to take another step. And then all of a sudden you get this other energy that comes from who knows where, and you can breathe better and you can run. Like,
So you had all this energy.
so it was like that from fasting.
Yeah. So what else did you take away from that experience?
Well, they're a little mean there because they make you do these cooking classes while you're fasting.
What?
And it's
Why?
just a little sadistic.
mean.
Well, I'm not going
I
there.
almost took the guy next to me out so I could
'Cause
get
I
his
do not
broth,
like to cook.
'cause he was on to broth and I was still on water, and I just was like,
How did they get you to cook? Like, I don't like to cook in general.
No,
they demonstrate in front of.
I ain't gonna. I
Wait,
don't
so
like
do
anything
you
like that.
Not get to eat until you cook your own.
No.
Okay.
So
They
you're
don't no
Butter's
soup
over
for
here
you.
going, wait a minute, I think this might be
no
torture.
soup for you.
and then when you start introducing food again, it's you juice. Like I did watermelon juice was how I broke my fast, and I have never.
Were you on a sugar high? You're like a little
Frickin'
gerbil.
nectar. It was the best thing I'd ever put into my mouth.
Oh, I bet.
But you do kind of lose your appetite after about 3 days. But I'm Italian and I liked my food, and so day 2, I was putting on my vanilla chapstick and it's like just licking my lips.
Did they
trying to
know?
get some hint of
Okay, Mama
vanilla.
T. Did they know you had the vanilla chapstick, or did you sneak that in?
the people in there are like, can I have some?
Like,
I get a little.
Give me some of that shit. Give me a hit.
give me
Oh
some
my
of that
God, Mama T, room 23. Really, you got to get down there.
Got that good vanilla shit. Go check it out.
But it did totally reset me. I mean, my
And
cravings.
what a great
afterwards.
experience.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that I would ever do it again, to be honest. Like it was great. And I do now still, I'll do a 36. I'll do a 3-day fast occasionally. And it's when I know I have a lot of downtime and I'm just at home, I'll do a 3-day water only. Maybe once
So why 36 and
couple
not
years.
72?
to start.
Like, what's the difference? Like,
You got to
Just
read the
Start
book.
losing your mind.
I mean, it's
After
kind of
you're
like
30.
when you have a stomach bug, you know? Like, you just
Okay,
cleanse everything
okay.
out of you, and then, like, all of a
and then
sudden-
reset.
When your body doesn't have to focus on digestion, it can repair, it can put its focus on all these other things.
wow, yeah.
Well, maybe I need to
Should we do one?
look into that,
Should we do one?
because I'm not crazy over food anyway.
You never eat.
Well, I do eat. I just eat over a long period of time.
You eat.
She eats a
One
cracker
bite
every
every-
3 hours.
Yeah, seriously.
But
I was on like constant. Did you eat protocol when your husband went
Yeah.
out of town? Are
Yeah.
you sure you ate?
Yeah, I was like,
How
wait a
much
minute.
have you eaten
And then
today?
like 2 days in, I'm like, wait a minute.
When was the
Did
last time I
somebody
ate?
talk to you? Did somebody talk to you? Like, you keep asking me about food. And you're like, yeah.
Tell you to check up.
And I'm always the one that'll cover my food, and my plate will be like right there.
Yeah,
So,
3 days later.
On the note of cleansing our digestive system, and another skid mark segment cycle. Mama T, do you have a skid mark story for us?
That you cleansed your system and really left that mark, and you got real scared.
And you had to pull out the bleach.
You had to really clench those
Not
cheeks.
to drink, not to consume, but to clean.
So in my early 20s, I was, no, it's not a funny story. It's a scary story.
Oh,
No, that's good. That's what we
It
want.
can be. It can be like
Can be scary.
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So I was
dun 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 dun.
living in France. I was studying in France, and I went up to Paris for the weekend to meet my cousins. And I was waiting in the Paris train station for their train to come in, and it got delayed. So I'm just like hanging out. And this guy is like, hey, do you want to go get a beer in this little cafe? And I said, sure. And so I went in, we sat down at the table, we ordered a beer. And then I was like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And he did seem a little off, I'm going to say.
Oh dear. See your
And
gut.
so-
That's your gut.
I went into the bathroom, and I don't even know why. I just turned back right as I was walking into the bathroom. I looked at the table, and he was putting something into my drink.
I'm so glad you saw that.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
God.
So
We just
What did you do?
we just found like 100 in the dryer
Yeah, that's
doing laundry. That's a gift. I got
That's gnarly.
goosebumps.
Oh,
That's a gift. We just found spare change and everything in that dryer.
Yeah, that's
Well,
That could've
scary.
been real
Oh my
bad.
goodness.
well. So I end up leaving the cafe,
You have great angels.
and
You
this
didn't say
woman.
anything to him. You just left.
I left. And this woman immediately, as soon as I walked out of the cafe, this woman pulled me aside and she's like, you need to be careful. And I think now, like in the moment, it freaked me out, but I didn't really think that much about it. But now, especially as a mother of 3 daughters and like just everything I know about trafficking and everything else, like it like I feel like I was this close.
Oh my
to
God,
something
so close.
Terrible.
absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
That-
Like you could have been trafficked, you could have been raped. There's a million horrible things that could have happened to you.
yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
We're so happy you're here with us. I mean,
That
but
is
that is, be
so
aware. Be
scary.
aware.
Well,
That's a
then
skid mark.
That is a
Sure.
skid mark. That is a scary skid mark.
back to France.
We
I
need a
think you have
lot.
a
Oh,
really-
we do.
great
Let's
story.
finish it off
Go
with
on
a
a
great happy
positive.
France.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's
a
a happy
happy
France
positive.
story.
So this summer in July, my oldest daughter, named Annecy, named after the town in France where my husband and I met, was proposed to. And her
Yay,
fiance
congratulations.
had told us before when he asked if he could propose. He said, I know how much family means to her, and if you guys were there, if you could make it, I would love to have you there.
I just have goosebumps.
And he also called her sisters and asked them if they wanted to come, and so we all surprised her.
Oh my God.
And he proposed at the end of this dock on the most picturesque, beautiful lake. And he got down on one knee and he proposed, and then he pointed to us, and so we all came running down screaming, and she thought we were like the local French people cheering her. She was like so confused. And
Oh
then
my
it clicked.
goodness.
Like what?
How long did it take for her to register that, oh my God, these people in this foreign country that are running towards me are my family? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it was-
Congratulations.
Very
That's
happy.
wonderful.
How are all the wedding planning activities going?
yeah, they're gonna do a long engagement, so
Yeah,
we
good.
can
Oh,
take a
good.
breath.
Oh,
Enjoy it.
good.
They should enjoy it.
What a beautiful full circle. Like that's
No
how you
kidding, where she, I
met,
know.
You named your daughter after, and then
And that she, and
now
that,
she starts her new.
and she
path
found
of life
someone that
there.
understood and
Yeah,
understood her beginnings, and that she found someone that was willing, got it and shared this with, this is where you were named from, and I
full
want to be a
circle.
part of that.
And I didn't realize you studied there. I feel like we just learned that. Or I just learned that, so that's really cool. So-
France is a big part of my
Yeah.
history. I studied there. I worked there after college. I've spent a ton of
Wow.
time there. So
Would
it's
you ever
very-
move back there, you think? Ever?
I would.
Yeah.
I like
Wow.
my like So on
How's your
on the-
French?
C'est bon.
Just
We bien.
So on the food note,
Oh,
though, I gotta
Shantae.
tell you, this
That's it.
summer I'm not a big cheese person, and I'll eat a little goat cheese, a little. We went for raclette, and we had so much cheese in France, and so much wine, and so much bread. 3 things I don't normally consume a lot of,
Oh, Mama T forgot about moderation.
and I felt so good, and I think.
So suck it.
And I
Moderation.
think it's because the French don't adulterate their food like we do.
Is this
It's
why
just
wine
like-
from France does not give me a headache, but Sonoma?
Probably.
And nothing
talked
against
about
Sonoma.
this.
I love Sonoma. I do. But man, I have to say, I've honestly noticed a difference.
Like we had the French bread that they made that morning in the little
right,
boulangerie, and the French cheese that they made just 20 kilometers
so
away
fresh.
from the cows who were outside walking on the mountainside, and the wine.
amazing.
Yeah,
America, we can get there. I know we can.
Yeah,
we
could do
can.
better.
We can do better. I know we
Yeah.
can.
Well,
I know
what
we
a beautiful
can.
vacation.
It was lovely.
Absolutely.
And on that note, it's time for our 5 on the line.
But right before that, right before the 5 on the line, I do have a quick question for, as I am a grandmother. My smart question for you is, where do you see the future of nutrition, just general nutrition, in the way that we've already talked about? Our soil's going to be depleted, and how many more crops we have? And I'm just thinking about, Monk and Little Al, and, hopefully they're going to be listening to this, 10, 20 years later. And what do you see for that? I mean, I don't want it, it can't be that bleak. And I know we're working on it. So I love your pod gardens. I think they're called, oh my goodness.
Tower Gardens.
I think we should call them pod gardens for podcasting.
What's a power?
Oh my gosh. So I can see how that will, but please tell me there's something that we can put our energy into to help our future, for our future generations to have nutrition. They deserve healthy nutrition.
Absolutely. I am an eternal optimist, and I believe that the human body is incredibly resilient, and you can see examples of it all the time. So I know that even though, yes, the soils may be depleting, there's also technology like the Tower Garden that has enabled us a way to grow vertically, not in the soil, but by adding minerals. So that is extremely nutrient dense food that you're getting from a Tower Garden without being grown in the soil.
These things are amazing. You got to Google them, guys, if you can. They're absolutely amazing, and they've been around like for a very long time.
They've been around for a while. Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes, yes. So,
Well, now it's time.
Okay,
for
so
our
now, yes, thank you.
5 on the line.
That was a great question, though. Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So kind of back to the vacations. What was your favorite vacation and what was your worst vacation? We'll start with the favorite.
Throughout your entire life.
like, yeah.
Childhood.
You can even go through childhood. You can even tell something about your mother and your brother in a vacation, or
Favorite family vacation.
oh, it has to be a family vacation.
yeah, it needs to be. Well,
yeah.
we're trying to get through we want to share for Monk and Little Al, like what were people's vacations
It's
like?
a family podcast.
Yeah, so we kind of,
But can it be like a vacation with my kids? Because
Oh, no,
yeah,
that- yeah.
oh,
That's your
absolutely.
family.
Because your next
That's your
question,
family. When
your
I was a
next,
kid.
just so you know, your next question is going to be what vacation went totally wrong.
Okay. So my favorite family vacation. That's hard. We have had so many.
I
Like
know.
we
I have a feeling
done-
it's Annecy, France.
well,
I feel a theme coming.
I do too.
we've done a bunch of road trips in the US with our kids when they were little
Nice.
that were
Fun.
amazing. And so,
What a way to get to know your family.
Yeah.
Nice.
Super fun. But we did have to play the quiet game quite a bit. in
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That's my
absolutely.
favorite game sometimes. So.
But I would probably say that my favorite vacation with my kids was our European trip. It was only about 5 years ago. So they were older, but we did Greece, France, and Italy.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
And it
Awesome.
absolutely was.
When you say
best
older, can you
memories.
kind of just roughly? What do you mean older? Like
So like 16, 18, 21. So old.
wow, that's a lot to keep track of.
But
Europe.
we took them to Hawaii when they were young, and that was also phenomenal.
But no, that the European one, that sounds great. I was just trying to get an idea for their age. So that's awesome that you're still enjoying them.
oh yeah, they wanted to come.
Because a lot of people,
keep it
well, a
going,
lot of people
'cause-
don't, with their kids, do not recall their favorite vacation when their children are in the teenage, young adult years. So that is awesome.
And then the worst vacation.
Enjoy it. Enjoy
Yeah.
it while you can is what I meant to say.
And that's great.
I honestly cannot think. I mean, I can think of vacations where, oh my gosh, no, maybe it was Australia. Oh, we went to Australia when they were in 4th grade, sixth grade. And I can't believe I
yeah,
forgot
What
nothing.
happened? Why was it
well,
so bad?
No, it was amazing. That was
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
I can't think of a bad vacation.
What about with your mom and your brother growing up? Like when you guys decided
Yeah,
to go
like
on
maybe
vacation, no flat tires.
Maybe not
no?
bad, but like
Get
just
into our
like a
station wagon.
This is awesome.
uncomfortable situation or like
Okay.
Like a
Have
lot
you
of
had any?
whining.
Have you had any bad VRBO Airbnb situations?
Yeah, that's another segment we're working on.
Yeah.
4 stories from your
Because
Airbnb.
we think they are on their way out.
Kind of do.
Oh my goodness.
guys,
That-
like,
I'm gonna
cannot
travel with you.
think of
'Cause
one.
If you don't have
can we try?
I'm all about
bad
making the
story.
lemons out of lemonade.
Well,
If
so
you're
am
on
I. But man,
vacation-
some days it's hard, man.
No, I am
just
too, but I've definitely had some pretty detrimental.
okay. Well, let's go on.
All right, yeah, next
Yeah.
question.
So let's talk about who was your role model growing up, and has that changed now that you're an adult, and why?
Gosh, I had a lot of historical women who, from Clara Barton to Harriet Tubman to Rosa Parks but
It doesn't surprise me. That seems like your type of idol. You're just such a powerful woman.
But I also my grandmother was
Oh my goodness. You're not going to believe this. I'm going to end the podcast with something I wanted to clarify that I think it was Tony's grandmother had said. Oh, like, do tell about your grandmother. We are on the same wave right now.
she was just like
We're in the same wash.
woman.
And we're
We-
just washing and swishing, making bubbles.
all of our summers together. My mom was a single mom, so she would send us to Boston to live for the summer with my grandparents.
Because you
And
remember the DDC also?
the what?
Dead Dad
She is
Club?
not.
No.
I never knew my dad, so no.
Oh,
no.
That
No.
counts.
Same thing.
That constitutes.
Oh, okay.
as
So
a
I
DD
guess-
count.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
Oh, excuse me. I need to relook at the rules and
There's very
regulations.
strict
Thank you.
rules, but
Thank
you are a member, so continue.
Okay. So anyway, she was all about it. You know, she was a true Italian woman, all about food and family and expressing yourself and your love. And I will say, okay, funny story. So my brother kind of beat me up. Not, you know, we were young.
As siblings do.
As
yes.
as siblings do. And so I think
It's a
I
fun
was
kind of
like
love of
6
bullying.
or 7. And so I said, we were at my grandparents, and I said, I'm going to run away. I'm going to walk back to Colorado, Grandma, because he's just so mean and awful. I can't be near him. And so she said, okay, well, let me help you pack. And I said, okay. And we got out my suitcase, and she put in some cheese and some brownies and all the things. And then we got down the street like a block, and there was this dog barking, and she said, oh, Tony, I'm so scared of dogs. Maybe we should go back. And just,
my goodness.
and she just very slyly turned that whole situation around and got me to come home and make up with my brother.
Oh, I love
but
that she entertained the thought.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But she was just, you know what?
That's an Italian for you. Like, she has her mind made up. I see the look in the eye, so we're going to go along with this because like, you kind of make up your mind and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So she wrote it out
She
with
was
you.
the real deal. She
That's
was.
so sweet.
And so is she still your role model today?
She is, because my love of family is what is first and foremost the most important thing for me. And that was her. And that was my mom.
amazing.
awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. Who was your favorite or childhood pet? What was it? Who was it? Like, was it?
Aslan, my dog.
Aww.
That was a quick
What kind of
answer.
dog? Do you know?
A mutt
A
that
mutt.
we got from the pound.
What
And
did your
why
mutt
was
look
your-
like?
Why was he your favorite pet?
because he was, and then I feel guilty because Josie was also.
Well,
It's okay.
But wait. We can put in another question. What was your favorite adult pet? Okay, so
That would be
just hold on.
Josie.
Just hold on. Okay, you don't know what's coming next. We want to hear about your childhood pet and why.
Aslan. So I named him after the Chronicles of Narnia guy.
Oh,
You know, the King
Yeah,
Aslan.
yeah.
Even though he was
I
a
do
dog.
remember.
was he the big lion?
Yes.
Yep.
Aslan was the lion, but mine was the dog. He was a mutt. He was the most loyal. Like, all he wanted to do in life was be there for you and make you happy. And
Dogs are the best.
yeah.
Or-
And when I was having a hard day, he would just come and snuggle. He just knew, right?
They know.
And my brother was a little bit of a wild child. My mom being a single mom, like, he would do crazy, stupid shit, and she would freak out, and my house was a little nuts, and I would just go bury my head in that dog's fur, and everything was fine.
So, oh my goodness. So what did Aslan look like?
He was like a golden color, short
Okay.
hair, medium, I don't know, maybe 40 pounds.
Short hair, maybe Benji, looking like kind of like a
Like Layla.
yeah, Layla.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Yes.
and then what was Jack?
She was the best.
I had a dog named Jack, and he was supposed to be a Shih Tzu, and he was not.
He was part gorilla.
But like monkey dog. What were they called? They were called gorilla dog or monkey dog.
Oh, is that a breed?
Yeah,
I just
but
always
that's
thought
not
it looked like a
Alphen
gorilla.
pincer.
Okay.
Alphen pincer, like, was because they're real short haired and they can be golden, like, and they can be like real. Was it kind of wiry and
No.
no
No.
longer?
It was, yeah.
And he would just let you hug him and just hug away.
Yeah.
What a sweetheart.
Comfort.
Oh, that's
Beautiful.
awesome.
Every kid
That
needs.
probably just made your
100%.
childhood.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And how long did you have him?
Till he got hit by a car,
my
but he was
God.
12. So 12.
So he could have
Wow.
lived so much longer if
Oh,
some
I'm so
idiot.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Yeah, that's terrible. I'm sorry.
It's awful.
But I'm so happy you had him for 12 years
Yeah,
because those are
sounds like he
important
made
years
a
in your
bond.
life
Huge
as well.
impact in your
Yeah,
life.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what was the last song you listened to on your playlist or your like whatever you listened to? Spotify, Pandora, you're working out, whatever. What
No
was the
pressure and no judgment.
Last... Yeah, we're just wondering what is.
We just like to ask. You can also pull up your phone and
Yeah,
check it.
you could even like
You can look
here.
at-
no
Yeah.
pressure.
So I'm not gonna lie.
watch
I
you.
listen to the radio in the car because I just can't be bothered to be.
Oh, I get it. I get. Okay, what was your last radio song then? I don't.
Or
I mean, my
radio
last
station.
radio.
You know what
song-
it was? I can tell you. I
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
was in the car.
I want to hear.
So you know Tracy Chapman's Fast
Yes.
Car?
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's some country singer who just
Yes,
redid it.
yes, yes,
Wait,
yes.
it was Luke Holmes.
Luke
Luke
Combs.
Combs.
Yes.
Luke Combs,
Fast
yep.
Car.
Yeah,
that was
that's-
what I
Oh,
just
that's
a good
adorable.
song.
Fast car. That's
and I'm
great.
singing it. You got a fast car.
Yeah, get you out of here.
And I went to Tufts, and Tracy Chapman went to Tufts, so I've always liked that song.
Nice,
Feel this, like,
nice.
connection. So yeah, I like.
So
Amazing.
Cute.
bringing it back around, when I was thinking about this interview and knowing you and everything, I cannot remember for the life of me this afternoon what triggered this. But I was like, I want to end the podcast with clarifying this with you. I believe it was your grandma that told you, hey, why not leave things a little bit better than when you first, like,
Yeah.
what was it? And for some reason, like, I have goosebumps right now. For some reason, I was thinking about our podcast tonight and talking to Mama T and everything. I was like, there was something about that saying that I just thought in my head the other day, and it just keeps revisiting me. So was that from your grandma?
Yes. So her two
Aw.
things that always stick out is you always knock with your foot when you go to visit someone, like for dinner, or you have to knock with your foot because you're holding whatever you're bringing to them.
Right.
Right.
Oh,
my
nice,
God, I
nice.
love
Yeah,
that.
do not
Never
come
come
empty-handed.
Don't go empty-handed.
I abide by
Nice.
that. Is that an Italian thing? Because I do
I
that.
think so.
Yeah, you just don't want to. Yeah,
Can't. I can't do
nice. Knock with
And
your
then
foot.
she said always, I don't
Always
know,
leave something. Always leave it a little bit better than
than
when
you found it. Or,
Always leave it a little bit nicer than when you found it. And I'm like, that applies to
Everything.
anything and
Oh, yeah.
everything.
but it's crazy because I don't understand. So many people don't live by that. I don't think because I was just dog sitting for these people.
Why would you want to leave it
And-
worse?
And I'm doing what, like, just, I don't even think twice about. Like, I'm taking their trash out, and then the cat puked
I
on
am
their
the exact
bed.
same way when I dog sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me
So
too.
I like
Leave it a
washed
lot
all her
nicer.
sheets, and so I texted her and I said, do you want like? So I just told her, and she's like, oh my God, I can't even tell you how much peace of mind I have knowing that you're there and I'm like. All I did was put out the trash and like
Yeah.
wash the pukey sheets. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't any normal person?
Yeah.
No.
You would
Who wouldn't
think.
do
No.
that?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of a
Apparently,
person?
normal is
Not normal.
And I've got to tell
it's a
you,
huge array.
I have a really hard time trying to like let my dog sitting business go because I don't trust anyone to do the
Oh,
job the
for
way
your
I
dog.
do it.
I believe. Oh, I believe you.
It's
Yeah.
true. And
Because
have
you
such
know
high
you do it right.
standards.
You know you take
Yes.
care of
Yes.
them.
And animals deserve the love.
Absolutely. And they don't have
you
the
know?
voice. We're their voice. I
Yeah.
mean, they do so much for us. The least we can do is be their voice.
Yeah.
And it's so, I mean, it's little actions you can do. I mean, these little pets just only need certain things. It's a very low bar you really need to get by. But like, these families really appreciate everything you do for them.
Yeah.
It's just the littlest things.
That's-
I mean,
yeah.
Taking
take
out
out
the
the
trash.
I mean, the
Walk
dog,
the floor,
obviously,
wash
the
it.
dog
And
and the
wouldn't
cat were
you-
my top priority. Like, I didn't even think about that
Right.
as doing
This is-
anything. And she
Yeah.
was just
You know
like,
what? This really resonates with something that I was thinking about earlier today, actually. Believe it or
she's
not.
done a lot of thinking today.
I did.
would
I
say
did. I
so.
was looking very
You've been
forward
busy
to
today's March.
podcasting but I was thinking about a lot of people don't give themselves enough credit just for showing up.
That's true.
And I mean
Work in itself.
showing up in the simplest ways.
yeah, that's true.
You're getting your laundry done, and then guess what? You get your laundry done and you just feel that much better. You feel that much more in control of your life. And then you're walking around in nice, clean clothes, right? You're getting the benefit of that, and you're taking care of yourself, and you're showing up. The little things I don't think we're paying attention to right now for ourselves. I think everybody's too hard on themselves right now.
Yeah.
Show up, and damn, wash your panties. You're
Please
gonna
wash your panties.
No, just you're gonna be happier. I promise. You're gonna
Have a
be.
good day with dirty underwear. You know,
You
can't
know
start
what
your
I
day
mean?
like
Can.
that.
And then it's just gonna be. And then my panties feel nice and clean. And then I want nice and clean pants and skirt. And I want a nice and clean blouse. And then
We'll
you're
have
gonna
the
be.
socks clean too.
Mine as well.
Never know.
And then you're gonna be holding your head a little higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we all need to give ourselves a little credit just for showing up.
Just that one tiny little thing.
You know what?
Makes the world of difference.
Pay attention and give yourself credit for that one little thing, because we all are doing it. I know we are.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And then we build on it,
And on that
just like
note,
those carbohydrates.
That's a great way to end the podcast. So, Mama T, thank you so very much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having
again.
me.
Oh, thank you so much.
You
Spreading
are
your wealth of
amazing.
knowledge.
You're going to be our
Thank
staple.
We can't thank you enough. I think the guests can't thank you enough. They love the content that you
Yep,
provide.
absolutely.
So fun. It's such a great thing you got
I'm
going
sure you'll
here.
be back on again, but we can't thank you
laundry room.
enough. And congratulations again on your daughter's engagement.
And
And
growing family, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's what life's about.
exciting.
Yeah.
All right.
And we
All
love
right.
you. And thanks again.
Yeah.
And we're out.
Hey, before we wrap up this spin cycle, Haas and I would like to give a quick shout out to those listeners who may be famous. We really do adore you, and even though you do not qualify as an NTRG, not the real guest, we would always love to hear from you. This is Smarge and Haas, keeping it sorted, keeping it real, from the family laundry room. Be safe, stay even, and remember, when in doubt, go half.
Thank you for listening to Dirty Laundry Clean Confessions. Follow us on Instagram at Dirty Laundry Clean Confessions. And if you would like to be the next Not the Real Guest, please email us at dirtylaundrycleanconfessions@gmail.com. We would love to air out the dirty laundry with you.